Oh, Mr. Gum's plan is rotten, rotten meat and rat poison for poor old Jake who just wants to play in the garden. Shall we find out what happens in chapter 4? Chapter 4 of You're a Bad Man, Mr. Gum. Chapter 4. Mr. Gum has a cup of tea. Mr. Gum has a cup of tea. That's the end of chapter 4. I might treat you to chapter 5 then. Chapter 5. Are you ready? I feel like I need to show this chapter title. It's called Jammy Grammy Lammy for Hupper Berlin Stereo EO Leb. So yep, mnemonica, Lestrade, Peck, de Grespin, de Crespin, de Spespin, de Vespin, de Whoop, de Loop, de Bunkle, Merry Christmas, Lenoir. Well, I don't think you'll find that in any other book. Should we find out what it means? The next morning, Mr. Gum inspected the cowhearts. They had been soaking all night in rat poison, and they were good and proper dangerous to dogs now, and they gave off a foul smell, even worse than before. That blibbing dog always smelling this bad smell with his animal instincts, with his animals, and he'll refuse to eat them, thought the crafty old man. I'd better disguise this terrible smell with something nice. Oh, shove 'em a whiskers! Mr. Gum looked through his kitchen cupboards, but there wasn't anything nice in there. Of course there wasn't. All he could find was a rotten turnip, a dried up mushroom, and a sock full of stale crisps. So off he headed down into town. He was there, and he was in a filthy mood, and as he walked along, he muttered to himself, "Shove 'em the whiskers," he muttered. Who'd have thought poisoning a stupid old whopper of a dog could be such hard work? What a bother it all is. There was a little girl playing in the hedge as Mr. Gum walked by, and she heard what he said. What's Mr. Gum going to do now with talk of poisoning whopper dogs? Said the little girl to herself. What whopper dog can he mean? She ran through a list of whopper dogs that she knew. It didn't take long because she only knew one whopper dog. Jake, the big, lovable, golden old hound. No, she cried. No, I won't let it happen. I loves that dog. Watch out, because it's true. I loves him, and what's more, that dog saved my life once, and now I'm not going to stand by playing in a hedge while that old grizzler flipping poisons him to death with destruction. No way, I says. I'll stop him. That's what I'll do. Now, this little girl's name was Jammy Grammy Lammy for Huppin Berlin Stereo EO Leb. So yep, mnemonica, Lestrade, Peck, de Grespin, de Crespin, de Spespin, de Vespin, Whoop, de Loop, de Bunkle, de Merry Christmas, Lenoir. But her friends, they just called her Polly. You will have to make up your mind now whether or not you are her friend. If you are, then you can call her Polly too. But if you're not, then every time you see the word Polly in this story, in your head, you will have to say, oh God, here I go again. Jammy Grammy Lammy for Hupper Berlin Stereo EO Leb. So yep, mnemonica, Lestrade, Peck, the Crespin, the Vespin, de Whoop, de Loop, de Bunkle, Merry Christmas, Lenoir instead. For instance, she's about to go running down the hill like this. Polly went racing down the hill like a runaway marble. Now, if you're her friend, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you're not her friend, you'll have to say, I wonder if you can remember some. Jammy Grammy Lammy for Hupper Merlin Stereo EO Leb. So yep, mnemonica, Lestrade, Peck, de Crespin, de Spespin, de Vespin, de Whoop, de Loop, de Bunkle, Merry Christmas, Lenoir. Went racing down the hill like a runaway marble. Most people in Lamonic Bibber choose to be Polly's friend for the sake of time and convenience. Luckily, though, Polly was a girl worth liking. She was 9 years old, with lovely sandy hair like a cat's daydream, and a smile as happy as the Bank of England. And when she laughed, the sunlight went splashing off her pretty teeth like diamonds in search of adventure. So Polly went racing down the hill like a runaway marble, determined to find Jake the dog before she fell victim to Mr. Gum's evil scheme. She didn't know exactly what the old man had in mind, but she knew her big friend was in trouble. She ran past the oldie curiosity shop and then ran back because she was curious to see what was inside. Then she remembered the danger that Jake was in. She continued on her way. She ran past a dustbin filled with rubbish, and another one filled with rubbish, and then another one filled with rubbish, and then another one filled with princesses. Hmm. There was something unusual about one of these dustbins. She had time to think, but she had to keep on running. So she ran past big trees, tiny little trees, and tiny, tiny little trees, so small that they were just like pebbles. In fact, they were pebbles. She ran past a cat's ears, which were lying on the pavement, and a cat's nose and whiskers, which were lying on the pavement, and a cat's body and tail and legs and eyes and claws, which were lying on the pavement. Okay, so in fact, she just ran past one cat lying on the pavement. She ran like the wind and then got tired and just walked like the breeze. But she soon sped up again because she was determined to save that tremendous dog. It was only after she'd been running for about half an hour that she remembered something quite important. She actually had no idea where Jake lived. And what's more, she was no longer in Lamonic Bibber. She had come into the woods on the edge of town, and they were big and scary and full of shadows. The ancient trees looked down from high, stern and forbidding. "We are the trees," they seemed to whisper. "You are not welcome in this place. We are the trees." A cold wind blew, making Polly shiver, and she was certain that one of the flowers was snarling at her. "Oh no!" she cried, sitting down on one of those massive toadstools that you sometimes get in spooky woods. Look at Polly. I wonder if she'll be the heroine of our story. "I don't know where I am, and oh, Jake's facing the biggest challenge of his doggy life, and I doesn't know where to find him. And that flower's probably going to eat me." And with that, she burst into tears. Just then, an old man peered out of the window of a secret cottage, half hidden in the bushes behind her. Polly hadn't noticed the cottage, and I'm sure you wouldn't have either. That's the thing about secret cottages. They're secret. "Well, well, well," said the old man. "What do we have here? A little girl in trouble." And that is not the end. Another page, it says, "And here this chapter ends, leaving you to wonder if the old man was Mr. Gum, or if it was a different old man who was going to be nasty to Polly and laugh at her and stuff. Or maybe he was a good man. Yes, this chapter ends here with me not telling you that Polly was sitting outside the cottage of Friday O'Leary, a fantastic old fellow who knew the mysteries of time and space and things of that nature, and with me not telling you that he is one of the heroes of this tale. Ha ha, I am keeping this secret and information to myself. You will have to wait until chapter 7 to find out. That, in case you didn't know, is what's known as suspense. We leave it there until next time. Goodbye.